Hello and welcome to Trekkie and Beyond, a Star Trek podcast. I'm Monica.
And I'm Andrea, and welcome to episode 10 of season 3. This episode is all about Georgiou finishing her walkabout, and the Discovery crew is still trying to understand the message from the Kelpin ship that's lost or stuck or whatever in the nebula, in that little hidden nebula. So let's go ahead and discuss this episode. Initial reactions, what did you think?
I really like this episode. I know it has issues, but I think that I have now more closure than I had before. And I understand why Terra and Georgiou knew right off the bat that Prime Michael was not her Michael, because Terra and Michael is a hot mess, spoiled brat, all the way. What did you think?
So I apologize, dear listeners. I apologize. I feel like I'm just on a hating spree because I did not enjoy this episode. I just did not like it. All of Georgiou's whole condition could have been, or her whole walkabout should have just been one episode. I feel like it was drawn out. And then they didn't give the Discovery crew, who the show is supposed to be about, they gave them like a sparing 5 minutes. And then even then sort of made that about an outsider. When it was over, it was more of a thank God versus, is that it? Yeah, did not like this episode.
Okay, we're on completely opposite ends.
Yes.
But I wasn't completely fully in love with it, but I think we're on different ends. I was also wondering what Terra and Michael was like. I remember mentioning that from season 1 because we didn't have a chance to meet with her. And at first I was thinking she was like the Red Angel, but so now I've met her. I'm like, I'm glad. Well, I don't want to meet her ever again, and it looks like we won't.
This 90% of this episode is still about Georgiou's walkabout in this dreamscape that she's in. And we learn in this episode that this is literally just a dream. None of this actually happening. She's not in a separate world. And it's basically, she's being tested to figure out if she's changed or not. Now, we all know, like everyone who's watching the show, we know she's changed. There are subtle, small ways that we've seen her start to care about the crew and view people differently and have respect. So to see her act so not like herself in the Terran universe, quote unquote, to try and change things while people are all set, like, I don't know. I feel like they were just sort of setting her up for failure because she knows she's changed. We know she's changed. And she's telling the Terran people that she hasn't changed, but she has, but she's doing everything completely different than how she used to do it.
I felt like it was one of those, if you could go back in time and change something, how would you change it? And she tried, but Michael is still being Michael. And so Michael's not just one, but 2 attempts at making a coup did not work. We're not successful. So still Georgiou outbeat her, outfoxed her.
Yeah.
And so like, she just, I think in the end knows that like, she tried her best with Michael. She raised her the best she could.
But did she? Did she? Because like the version we know now is not the version that Michael was raised with. Like the version we have is a lot more tamed than the version that Michael grew up with. So her best could have been our nightmares, like things our nightmares are made of, you know?
Right. It was her best for what she knew at that time, but based on Terra and Georgiou. I guess if they would have went back, even further, 20 years previous, there would be like Michael would grow up differently. But then I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but we found out that there was like a sad moment. There's something about a person by the name of Stan that she said that she wished she would have shared. So I don't know, there could be more story. Like there's more out there about this character than we know, but there was some sorrow of helping someone that was not successful for her. And I think she then guarded herself.
Which is very possible. I don't know. I felt like for me personally, I felt like it would have made more sense to send her back further to where she could have stopped the Terran Empire from becoming what it was, and then seeing a possible world that she can have. And I get what they were trying to teach her. It just didn't work for me. Like, I just didn't enjoy anything that they put on the screen this time.
Right. And now that she's passed this test, if I understand this correctly, but Carl sent her back to a time in which the Mira and the Prime are aligned?
A little bit more aligned than what they were when Georgiou and Prime Michael met.
Right. So maybe she has, and I guess it's sending her back as Georgiou, not, I guess.
And it's not even truly explained if he's sending her back in time. Is she inhabiting her old body?
All I'm trying to say is that I think she's going back in time even further, and maybe the Terra, maybe she'll make better decisions. I don't.
That's only if she can go back into her old body, because she can't. They can't be two Philippas.
I don't know that part though.
and that's the thing. That's the thing that we should know. We should know, because otherwise it just leaves up to, okay, are you wiping your old person from existence because you have to be born in that universe, or are you going, like, it just a lot of questions.
Yeah,
for a scientific show to leave things so vague, it's killing me.
I wish they would have at least showed a 30-second clip of her in the
arriving. Yeah,
right, and then I would have a better understanding of when and who.
And can we also talk about Terra and Michael it's on site, honey. It's on site. Not because you think you're right and not because you think you're wrong, but just because you're a brat. You're a spoiled little brat who literally, like, at least Terra and Georgiou had like a class about her. She had this air of confidence, or she not air of confidence. She had a likability about her. Charisma, that's what it is. She had a charisma that was like, yeah, I just slaughtered your whole family, but I looked good doing it, type thing. And it was like, you can't, like, you hate her, but like, you're like, I want to be like her. But Michael is just a bitch. And there's like literally no redeeming qualities about her. She's just a spoiled brat who wants to take her mother down for the guy that she loves. It's not even her own idea. She's being manipulated by another man to come in and take over for her, like kill her mother for Lorca.
There must have been some redeeming qualities because other people fell in line with her. Because otherwise, if that's the case, I don't think so many people would have switched leadership and undermined.
But did they do that for her, or did they do that for Lorca? Because I know Dittmer, Terra and Dittmer was supposed to be close to her, but you saw how quickly they all folded, right, quote unquote, when Michael was in the agonizer and everything. Like, it wasn't, they have a save myself mentality. And if I see the ship's going down, I'm going to jump ship, versus having how Lorca was, like, how people who were loyal to Lorca back in season 1, we saw how they acted when he came back. Like, they were willing to go to the agonizers for him and everything. And Dittmer was like, give up. So it's like, it's not the same. Like, they don't allow either Michael to have a charisma that any of the other captains have, that draw people to her because they believe in her. Like, it's for this Michael, she's always have to prove herself to people, and they like her because of her results, but they're also quick to turn on her if she makes a decision that's not falling within the line. Like, we see how she interacts with Vance, how she interacted with Saru right after season 1. She doesn't have a natural charisma. She has a natural standoffish. And if Prime Michael is like standoffish and isolated, Terran Michael is like, look here, girl, why are you still breathing? Like, that Michael doesn't have, like, if Georgiou explained her cutting off the artist's hands and blinding them so the artwork could become more valuable, she would say it in such an eloquent manner that you're just like, oh crap, wait, you did what? But oh, it sounded so nice. I didn't catch it at first that you said a atrocious thing. But this Michael was bragging about it, and it's like, no, I'm not gonna like what you just said. No, because there was no elegance behind, you have no charisma. Why? I don't believe in you. I believe in what you're trying to do, but anyone could be the figurehead versus like, I don't want to be under Georgiou anymore. So I'm going to support you right now because we have the same goals, but it's not really you. It's the goal I'm supporting when it comes to Michael. But for like Lorca, it's like they believed in Lorca. But for Michael, it's like we believe in the same goal.
Right. And she could have offered them wealth and riches because she mentioned that there's like, I don't know, a lot of money when there's peace. She mentioned there was a line about that. I'm not getting that correct. But basically in peacetime, you can't ravage from other people and gain more wealth. And so maybe she offered them something because the second time around, they also stood beside her to trap Georgiou for that second coup. So I was just a little surprised at that, but I was also very pleased in Saru. I thought Saru.
Okay. So before we started recording, I told you I hated this episode, and Monica said, you keep saying that, but you always find something nice to talk about. I cannot believe that I am saying this, but Terrence Saru has my respect. There's my positive aspects. I'll let you continue talking about how awesome he is.
So, first of all, Georgiou that we met in the first season of Discovery basically just wanted to like eat. It was I don't know, just completely devalued all Kelpin life. And they were the scum of the earth and like and was trading them as slaves. And so now this is a completely different Saru and Georgiou relationship in which she told him that she wanted him to be her eyes, and they were bouncing ideas off of each other. She was confiding in him, he was confiding in her, and I think soothing each other's woes about their life. And I just thought that was very sweet. I'm not, and in the end, he came in and helped save the day, was firing off shots and helped and was comforting her after she was stabbed. I just liked it.
It is a huge 180. It is a very huge 180. So okay, that is a positive. I have to say yes, but that's like probably the only one positive because I didn't like that.
I'll take the one.
I'm sorry, Monica. I know one day my cold dead heart will beat again. So we see that after Georgiou goes through her walkabout and she comes out, she's awakens in the arms of Prime Michael, and she's visibly like disturbed. And here's like one of the faults that they always have with Michael. They never let her believe something first. They never allow her to believe. And it's like always a catch-22 because when she tries to tell people something like to believe her, she always has to repeat herself. And I feel like for other people, it's not like that. They will say it and people take it at their words. But with Michael, she's a skeptic and people are always a skeptic with her. And I just don't get it. So like, because Georgiou tries to explain that she was away for 3 months and Michael's like, no, you weren't. And I just wanted to yell, yes, she was. She went through a magic door that appeared out of nowhere with a guy who appeared out of nowhere. Did you not think that maybe it was possible that she could deal with time differently by walking through the doorway? And I hate that they make her a skeptic and make people a skeptic with her than just allowing her to believe, because if they want her to have so much faith in this show, why do they make her such a skeptic when it comes to other people giving her information?
You're right. I don't understand. And I'm seeing it time and time again. I guess I reached my bottom with that with Spock. She didn't believe her own brother when she was in her brother's head. Yeah. So we see it every few episodes. I don't understand the writing for that.
They keep having her contradict herself, and it's so annoying that they keep having her contradict herself, and I just really wish that they would stop doing that. But we learned that Carl is the guardian of forever, And he can open up a time portal basically anywhere, and he's in hiding because of the time wars. People will like to get to him to kill him or use him. Weird but cool, fine explanation for him to still be there. And he basically tells Georgiou, I can give you a new life, a new world. And I think you said this in the first half, that would be great if we could have seen 30 seconds of it,
right?
To see where she was ending up, because it would answer some questions. Did you put her in her old body? Did you wipe out that Georgiou and put this new one in there? But now she's much older than what people would remember, because she needs to have the memories of what she has now. Otherwise, the history is going to repeat itself. So it's like, how did you fix it? And so like her and Michael have a tearful goodbye, and we see Michael losing yet another again parental figure in her life, a mentor figure in her life, which in my opinion, this Georgiou never needed to be that figure for her, because this was not her Georgiou. She just wore the same face. It's like, treat them like twins. They may wear the same face, but they're not the same person at all. And just because you have a good connection with one doesn't mean you should trust the other. Michael basically goes back to Discovery by herself, and Booker is there and giving her a hug, because apparently Booker hasn't left the ship yet.
No, he's been reading the manuals.
And I don't know if it's because he wants to join Starfleet or if he just wants to keep banging Michael and is trying to stay useful. I mean, because he could literally just follow them, like, or just like
he where can continue through his mission of helping endangered species.
Yeah,
with his dilithium.
Because like, I have to wonder, this is not Starfleet regulation to have some random person aboard their ship for no other reason than he's banging a member of the ship. I hate to be so crass about it, but like, that's literally, it's not like he's like stranded. He has a ship that can get him to where he needs to go. He just does not leave.
Right. And I think Vance and Saru was hinting around to him, like, he's got to find his niche and find his keep, because this is not a typical Federation. Although a lot of things that's going on right now is not typical. I think Book, though, made a strong case for himself by using his knowledge of the Emerald Chain to help solve one of the problems that they have now. And I have been thinking for a while that they need some sort of connection to the current timeline aboard the ship. I was thinking it was going to be someone from the Federation.
It's the person from Earth. I cannot think of the pronouns would be that correct. So I'm just gonna say
Indira.
Yeah, but I called her. I called them. I called them the female pronoun, and that's not correct. But I guess it'd be person from Earth, right?
Right.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, but I feel as though Indira is young and may not be doesn't have as much knowledge of what's going on in the galaxy and in the universe.
But she does, though.
You're right, because she has like a lot of historical knowledge, because
she's like the perfect bridge.
That's a really good point. But she's also not a key decision maker.
She's not.
But
she does have 7 generations of knowledge, of firsthand knowledge in her head, not what was recorded in a history book or in a log, but like firsthand knowledge of 7 generations. That's a great connection, because they can tell history from their point of view versus, well, it was sad that this happened. No, I was there. It didn't happen that way. Like,
right. We also know, though, that Gray is back, because Gray appeared at the memorial service. So I'm glad to see that Indira and Gray are back on speaking terms, because
I don't know if I'm happy about that. I don't know what that means. In my mind, I'm seeing what happened to Tilly all over again.
Well, I think that if there's some other person that's part of you, I think you should embrace that and work it out. Otherwise, I think you can develop schizophrenia. I think that you have to talk to your other state.
But like, they're not supposed to be. That's the thing. Like, they're only supposed to have their memories. They're not supposed to be able to talk to their past lives. That's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that he's back gives me pause, because when they were talking to Paul about it, Paul was like, well, I thought you weren't supposed to be talking to them anyway. So, like, you weren't supposed to be. So I wondered I don't know.
But Indira was sad when Grant Gray shut them out. So yes. I think it's, as long as they are happy, like, I just want to make sure that Indira's in a good frame of mind. And no distractions, because this can also be, teenage years and in love and all these things, and can easily distract you and cause you to slow down when Paul's throwing out orders and asking you to create an algorithm. You have to focus on that because it's mission critical.
She has the heart. Remember, people, she has the heart. I'm dead inside. So we also see that Jet is back. Yay. With no explanation of where she has been. Or did I miss the explanation? I don't think there was an explanation.
No, she's just as frank and sassy as before, and eating a lot of snacks like before.
That's interesting. No, maybe we'll see more of her going forward, hopefully. And then next we have the memorial for Georgiou, and they're all saying their versions of kind words about her, but I like how they're sort of telling the truth, because Jet was like, she was the most blunt person ever, and I like that. I like that they weren't sugarcoating it, because I've always hated sugarcoating people in death, like only saying the good things. Like, no, if they were an a-hole, remember them for who they were. If they were an a-hole, remember that they were an a-hole. Don't just remember, oh, he was such a good person. No, she wasn't. Georgiou was not a great person. She may have been good in the end, but she was evil, and she could have put all of you down. I will say, I don't like that Hugh called her the most stubborn patient I've ever had, because he literally had a patient that snapped his neck. And you're gonna call Georgiou the most stubborn patient you've ever had, when literally you had a patient so stubborn to not take your orders that they snapped your freaking neck, and they're not the most stubborn patient? I was like, I'm done.
I forgot about that part. I was thinking you were going to talk to the most stubborn patient with Paul.
No, his most stubborn patient literally snapped his neck because he was stubborn.
Very good point. Yes.
Like, no, Georgiou was not your most stubborn patient. Was she your most dangerous patient? That I could have believed, because while Ash did kill you, Ash didn't mean to. It was Volk who wanted to kill you. But Georgiou, if she killed you, you knew it was because she wanted you dead. So, but like, she was not your most stubborn patient, because your most stubborn patient killed you, because they refused to listen to you, because they were that stubborn that they killed you.
Right.
Okay, Paul. I mean, Hugh. But it was nice to see the different how everyone else viewed her on the ship. Nice to hear Saru say some nice words. Their whole relationship has really come 180, and seeing, I'll throw you another bone. Their relationship from the Terran universe, that didn't happen, because none of that was real. It was nice to see that, like, he started to care a little bit about her as well, even though she would have eaten him if she had the chance.
Right. And I think that she left with honor. They didn't see her, I don't know, develop dementia and die. Yeah. So I think it was a graceful exit for her, because she would have committed suicide before that or something. I don't think she would have. That would have just been an awful way for Terra and Georgiou to die.
I don't think she would have committed suicide. I think she would have tried to kill someone and I'll say this. It would have been like suicide by assistant suicide. She would basically attack someone to the point where the only way that they could stop her was to kill her.
Some sort of suicide mission. Yeah.
Yeah. But then we also learn about that Vance is both wary of Saru going to the Nebula universe because not universe, the Nebula spot where that message is coming from, because he hasn't seen another Kelpian. And I think that Vance to me is probably one of the best admirals that we've seen in Star Trek, because and I think it's because he has no personal connection to any of these people. He's able to keep such a neutral stance when it comes to decisions. And I like that he calls out Discovery for their like expected favoritism that the other Discovery got, because at first they were the vessel that was going to end the war. They were the vessel that came back from the mirror universe. They were the vessel that was like, they were always that vessel in their time, and now they're still that vessel because they can help against the Emerald Chain. But Vance is like, but I'll replace you. I'll take all of you out and just keep Paul. Like, so
right. And just the previous episode, Vance also directed Saru to go to this planet to save Georgiou. And originally Saru was like, oh, we have to, the many outweigh the one. He didn't want to go on that mission at all. And so this could have ended in a much different way. So it's interesting to see Vance kind of manage Saru and guide Saru through leadership decisions. Put him in a check also.
But he puts him in a check in such a respectful manner that doesn't seem condescending.
Yes. Yeah.
Vance has that charisma too.
Yeah.
Michael, go to charisma school. Because I'll say this, Saru doesn't really have charisma either. He doesn't really have, he's too matter of fact. But when he comes across, they have him come across as confident-ish. Ever since he lost his ganglia, he's comes across as more confident-ish, but he still doesn't have the charisma that we've seen other captains have. He just has the respect of his crew, but he doesn't really have that charisma to make people truly follow him. More of, hey, we're going to follow because we have the same goal. And it's similar to Michael, except he has more tact to know when to speak and when not to speak.
Right.
And Michael doesn't have that yet, but neither of them have charisma, in my opinion.
Right. Saru's much more diplomatic.
Yeah.
And I think that he's able to make just some decisions for the team that's much better than Michael. Michael just jump sometimes without talking to other folks and thinking things through. Yeah, but it was interesting though, because right before Georgiou went through the portal, she stated a few things about Michael and leadership, and that she should consider being a captain, and she respected Saru, but it was seeming like she was kind of urging Michael to pursue a more leadership role and to be more confident and like just trying to be another, I don't know, maternal guide for Michael one last time before stepping through that portal. What do you think about that scene?
I didn't agree with it. I don't think Michael's ready to be captain. Yeah. I don't think she is ready, anywhere near ready enough to be captain, because this entire season she has shown that she is quick to make decisions that she wants, not necessarily what's good for her ship. And then like she has put people in positions of basically either having to lie for her or reprimand her for the actions that she takes. And like for you to knowingly put people in risk or put them into a position where they have to either stay loyal to you and not report you, and not reporting you would be breaking the rules. This season, I've seen her be a lot more reckless than I think we've seen her in previous episodes and previous seasons. And this season is all more personal, that she's like reckless. And she, again, like I said, they didn't write her to have tact, to know when to talk to people. She's very still floppy. When it came to the tribunal, she rushed into it without making a decision of thinking, okay, if I do the do you guys still do the tribunal? Okay. what was to say you couldn't stop, gather your evidence, and then convene the tribunal? Why did you have to do it that moment when you were unprepared and you didn't know anything that was going on? She still acts first and doesn't think it through. And I don't think she's ready for a captaincy, because I still haven't seen her learn anything. Because like every time she has a chance to not do something personal, she still does the personal thing.
Yeah, that scene of Georgiou right before walking through that portal reminded me of the very first episode of Discovery, when Michael and Georgiou went on this walkabout in like this desert area to help a village like get access
Get water,
to, right, through a well. And so during that time, Georgiou was trying to also remind Michael to trust her, because Michael was worried about leaving, and Georgiou was like, no, I have a plan. We're going to work on a signal. And they were tracing their steps to make the
ship outline.
Right, to make the Starfleet badge outline in the sand. And Michael had doubt, but during that walkabout, they were talking about leadership and being a captain and so forth like that. So I just found it, and maybe the writers did this by accident, I don't know. But it was a similar type of thing, like, okay, we're still trying to help guide Michael into this leadership role. All this time has passed, but she's still not there yet. But both Georgious had, we're thinking that there's a lot of opportunity for Michael. There's a lot of growth available for her. She can get there. She just needs more guidance.
Yeah, she can definitely get there. I think it happening this season is wrong, because one, she's coming off of a year being out of Starfleet, a year of not following the rules. We've already seen that in the past, she's never really had to deal with consequences to her actions. And even this season, Vance was like, one of the reasons she wasn't thrown in the brig was because her actions saved lives. But like, I still haven't seen that she's really grown to understand your way is not the end way, not the goal. It's not the be all. Like, just because you like it a certain way doesn't mean, or just because you want something to happen a certain way doesn't mean your way is the only way that works. Because then she's so quick to try and turn everyone to her side. And then by the end of the episode, they have her basically changing her mind, and they have to change everyone else's mind back to what they originally thought in the first place. Right. So it's just like they keep making her contradict herself constantly, that I don't think she's ready to be a captain, because you can't be a captain and keep contradicting yourself on orders. You can't be a captain and disobey orders because you want to go do something else because your boyfriend is in danger. Like, you can't do that, and they just haven't shown her to be that person yet.
Yes, good point. I still think she needs something to humble her. She needs a loss, and
she needs to be broken. And I hate to say it, but she needs to be broken.
Yeah. Woo, a lot going on. I did like, though, in this episode, the Terrian uniforms. I thought
you love those uniforms.
I think that they're.
I say I'm dead inside, but you like the evil people's uniforms.
They're ornate, the crown, the cape. Oh my goodness. No, but the wigs were not so good. Georgiou's wigs were obvious, but I really like them. I could tell that you're not as much of a fan, but
and I will not wear the uniform of our oppressors.
I also thought that the opera scene from, this is kind of going back a little bit to part one, kind of foreshadowed this second part, because that's actually how like that ending fight scene between Georgiou and Michael kind of like transpired. So I thought that was kind of cool. Few other thoughts about this episode. I thought that this was similar to like a finale. I got like a season finale kind of vibe, but without truly understanding the rest of the burn.
Yeah.
So it like closed part of this chapter, because they started a few episodes ago talking about Georgiou's condition. So I don't know. I feel like I have closure there. So they shouldn't bring this back up again. And we didn't have to wait the full season to find out about that. About that whole thing. Any other final thoughts from you?
I need them to tell me the answer to the burn, and it better be worth it, and it better not be, oh, it was an accident. No, this better be an intentional act that was done by someone, and it needs to be a huge conspiracy, because if I find out it was an accident because someone flipped a switch they weren't supposed to, I'm gonna lose my mind, because I'm like, this was not worth a season of Starfleet cannot heal. No, they have moved on. You haven't, because you just learned about it. So, because what is finding out what caused the burn going to do?
Just help Michael get closure. Maybe try to prevent it again. I don't know. I just know our next.
That's the only reason. That is literally that reason, is to stop it from happening again. Right. But she's like, Starfleet can't move on. They're stuck. How do you know? You make these assumptions about this entire group because you can't move on. The burn better be worth it.
Yeah.
It better be worth it.
But we have another clue with the Kelpians, and I think that will be our next step.
It better be a freaking conspiracy that was held on by like generations, because they have drawn this out. I need an answer, and it better be good.
Okay, folks, you heard it.
But that is all the time that we have today. So thank you guys for joining us. Let us know in the comments if you think I'm dead inside. We all know the answer to that is yes, but just go ahead and let us know in the comments if you think I'm still dead inside, and if Monica is the hope of the show. But as always, I'm Andrea.
And I'm Monica.
Live long and prosper.